This will be video number 11 in the odds and ends hit and miss. Today we're going to make the valve chamber. And this valve chamber is exactly as the print. The only thing we have to change is we have to add a little spacer block to get it out from the cylinder head. So the way we're going to do that, to make it easy, is I did it in one piece. And you can make it in two pieces or one piece. You can silver braze that on there. The only reason it's not handy to have it two pieces, you have to have two gaskets and two chances of a leak. So making it out of one piece is really better. So the material we make this out of, it really doesn't matter. You can make it out of steel or stainless, or you could probably make it out of cast iron too. That would be really good. But you wouldn't want to use brass or anything. So what I'm going to do is first make this raised part on here in the 4-jaw chuck and thread it. So what I have here is a prick punch mark where the center of that little spud that sticks out there is, and I'm going to center that using a center in my tailstock. So we'll put this in here first, put it in lightly, see if I can get it fairly close. Okay, that's not too bad actually. The position of this isn't real critical. Within 10 or 20 thousandths will probably be fine, but I'll get it as close as I can. Okay, well, that looks pretty good right there. Wow, that's pretty good. According to the print, that should protrude about 3/16 of an inch. And you just have to have enough to get the thread the exhaust spark arrestor, I guess is all this what it is. But so I'm going to set up the tool here, get something with a little radius. Zero it out. Move in 3/16, which is 187, and 187 right there. Set my stop. Start turning. Everything's tight. Set the diameter on the print, so I measured it as 450 because that's to scale. So we'll shoot for 450. That sounds about right. Or a little more. That should just about do it. That's good. It's still about 50 over, so take a little more off of it. Another 5 and we got it. I'm just going to round off that face of it, make it pretty. Drill it and tap it. We need a center drill, spotting drill. Okay, now we're going to get the depth on that. Yeah, I'm going to go in there 700. 700 should be plenty. I can always make it deeper later, but I have to get the thread started is all. Open that up a little bit. So his print calls for a 272, a I letter drill, and it doesn't tell you what thread they're using yet. Oh, 5/16 24, so letter I. Going to run the bottoming tap in there now and clean up so I get enough thread. Now this thread isn't extremely important. If it leaked a little, it wouldn't matter. So you can use probably just about any thread in there that you can, that's close to 5/16. You could use a model pipe taper too. The finer the thread, I think, is better. They're easier to cut and they seem to seal better. So the 5/16 24 is a good selection. Okay, so that part is finished. So I can take that out of there and we'll turn it around and do the other features. The reason I did that one first is because I can put the jaw of the chuck on that. If I did this one first, I'd have a problem because that's so thin that I might not hold it. It wouldn't hold it tight enough. You might bend it. So if you do that one first, it's no problem. I'll see if I can get this in here right. Oh, yeah. Goes in this way. But first I've got to put a prick punch mark on that where it belongs. Just want to get this chuck somewhere near set. I guess it's going to hold all right. Yeah, that'll fit. Just make it. See, that tooth is just barely hitting this, but it'll work, I think. So that belongs right in the center of this. So I'm going to just check the size of it. It's 52, it's 752. So half of 752, 376. Check it that way. It's perfect. Now we got to get half of this one. So we got 710. So it would be 355. That's good. Gotta make quite a bit of adjustment here. Just a hair this way. That looks pretty good. Now what I want to make sure is that the two sides that are holding good are really tight. Because that's what's doing all the holding. We're going to just turn down the valve guide. So that's supposed to be a 1/4 inch long. Really isn't real critical, but around a 1/4 inch is nice. That's to allow the valve spring to go up a little further, so you have more valve spring, because the length of the stem is restricted by the little lever that trips it. I think that should be good. I'll lock my stop again so I can't go over. I'm only taking cuts of about 10 thousandths because of the way that's held in there. So I got to get the diameter of this. And that's just a hair over. I want to go a little under, if anything, because that's what the valve spring fits over. A little under is good, a little over is, the spring will hit it and it won't work right. Take the file for that, around the edge a little bit. I'm only loosening those two. I'm going to take this out, and I got to mark the other end now, the same place that I marked this one. So put the valve chamber in. That's the same place. If I turn this around, I can mark across there, and then it's centered this way. 375, 379. There. Should be the center. Just double check it. That looks pretty good. I want this pretty near the exact center of the other one. So when we're going to drill through here and hopefully come out right in the middle of that one, which probably won't exactly happen, but it'll be close enough. But gotta really be careful on this one. We still don't have a full grip on this thing, so I'm gonna have to be careful, make sure that I get it in there tight. A little bit more. As you can see in the print here, there's 3 different sizes of hole there, and they're all given here on the print. The maximum outside is 438, and what does this 3/8 show? Oh, the 3/8 shows the width of the valve seat. You see that little 3/8? This is 438, so that size is 438, and this hole here is 9/32. So what I usually do is drill the 9/32 hole into here and stop, and then I do this part out here, and this is all bored to size, and do the valve seat, and then I go through here with an 1/8 inch drill, and actually it's under an 1/8 inch drill, and ream it, and it comes out pretty centered. So the first depth goes in 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go in with a 1/8 drill, but I'm not going to go in quite 3/4. I'll leave it back just a little bit. The reason for that is I'm going to step up to that size, and then the last drill I will go in the exact depth. That's 700 thousandths. Now I'm going to open that up until I get to the right size. 9/30 seconds. So we can go in there with a little larger one. to go right in there with a 1/4. Now before I open that up to size, I'm going to run a boring bar in there and get it absolutely straight. So what I had to do is go to the larger 4-jaw chuck because these two are offset and I couldn't hold it square. It would keep cocking. So I went to the larger 4-jaw, which now I can put that in further, and what I can do is put a block on this side so I get a solid grip on it. I couldn't, if you don't get that in there straight, you've got a real problem. So I want to make doggone sure it's perfectly straight. So now I just have to reline this again. It's going to come this way just a little bit. I think it's just not tight. Yeah, it's not tight, so that'll do that. Boy, it's beautiful. Feel there's absolutely no vibration in there now, so I know it's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is take a boring bar in there and run it into the bottom of the hole and get that absolutely true again. That's the bottom of the hole right there. You don't have to go all the way to the bottom with the boring bars. Go in as far as you can because the drill will follow it once you get a good start on it. But I want to make sure that it's perfectly true. I would say that that was probably 15 or 20 thousandths off in there. I can tell by the way it's cutting. It's cutting all on one side. And I've got about a 10,000, 15 thousandths cut. I still got quite a ways to go. I'm going to take another 5 out of there. Okay, I'm going to zero that out. I'm going to go in 3/4 of an inch. 750. Just want to mark the bottom now. So what I did, I broke into the cross hole. This cross hole here, and what I did is I went down and I marked the bottom of that, so that should be pretty much centered when I drill that other hole through there and then ream it. So that's a 1/8 inch hole, right? So what I'm going to do now is drill in there with a number 32 drill, which is 1/16, and I'm going for 1/25. So I'm going to drill 2 holes. Hopefully that this should be in the center now. Open that up to 120 now. So now I'm going to ream that. I got to slow it way down. Use lots of cutting fluid. So the next thing we're going to do is open up this 438 hole here, and then we're going to cut the valve seat. So this has to be right to depth, 13/32. So I'm going to bore that out to 438 and 13/32 deep. Everything's tight. So I'm going to hit the face here, set my dial indicator to 0, and then go in 406. So there's 1, 2, 3, 406. Specific. I'm going to set my stop. Just want to measure that, see how far I've got to go. It's probably only about 2 something now. Yeah, now it's 3. So I got 100 to go anyway. Taking cuts at 10 thousandths. So we're out to 375. We got to go to 438. So that's take a little bit at a time here. I'm still going to cut 10s. That's basically 40. I'm going to take off 5. Speed it up a little bit, get a better finish. 426. So if I take off 5, I should be just about there. Taking a spring cut on the way out. That should just be about 438. Just about exactly 438. So now what I want to do is I'm going to turn this in 2 thousandths. By going in 2 thousandths deeper, I'm going to push the tool all the way in there and crank it to the middle. That'll give me a nice flat bottom. I'm going to set the compound at 45 degrees. Find out where 0 is. So I'm going to take this and set it about like that. Over here, I'm going to release this in there until I hit it. That's 0. So now I'm going to lock my stop. Set this at 0. That's 0. Now I'm going to turn this in about what did I do that? 15 thousandths, so that I have a little play that I can go that way. So now I'm going to turn this until I drop it in the hole. I'm keeping a little pressure that way. There it is right there. Okay, so I'm going to set this at 0. And just to make sure that I've got it right, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to bring this out, crank this back, go in till it touches, and then turn this, and it should fall in right at 0. So I've got that 0. So now what I want to do is I want to come out here. I'm going to come out of the hole, set this back to 0. So I'm against the flat seat in there. So I'm going to crank this into 0, and it should drop in the hole, which it does. I'm just going to move it out a little bit. I'm going to come back about 25 thousandths. So I have to take the play out of this. because I'm really only coming back 20. Now I'm going to turn the machine on and I'm going to feed it in with a cross slide. And what that should do is just barely take the corner, off of that hole in there. Just barely clip it. So I came back 25. Now I could hear that cut when I ran that in there. You have to just do it by feel and by sound. And I have to see a flashlight to look in the hole. I probably got 25 or 30 thousandths, but that'll just mean I have to lap a little more. Take that out of there and let you look at it. See if Jim can get his zoom in on it.
Just tip it a little, one way or the other.
Is that good? There's a lot of rings in there to look at, but there's a flat surface, and there is a valve seat. And if you can see the valve seat, it's wide enough. I wouldn't try to measure it or anything. Put a valve in there, and I can't seem to blow any air that I can hear through it, so once I lap it, it's going to be fine. If that seat is off center a little bit, you're in trouble. And that's why I do it the way I do it, and it seems to come out pretty good. That valve seat needs a little bit of honing too, so it's looser. But this isn't the valve for that. This is an old valve I had kicking around, and the stem is way too short. But I can test it. I know the valve is concentric. So if I put it in there and it seals good, it's a good test. Now the exhaust valve can be a little loose. It doesn't matter, because if it leaks out around the spring, it's not going to make any difference. Next hole we have to drill is through here, and that's the into the cylinder. So it bolts onto the head like this, and it's going to be the continuation of this hole into the valve chamber. I'll see what they're calling out for that. That's 9/32 also. So let's see if this is 9/32. This is 270. 9/32 is 281. So this is actually a little over 270. So that's a tiny bit undersized, but we can open that up afterwards. So what we want to make sure of is that when that hole is drilled in there, it lines up with this hole. And there's enough room in here to put the bolt. And I think that's a number 4 bolt. So as you can see, there's plenty there. So I'm going to line this up this way. And I can see it's a tiny bit off center, but I'm going to drill that thing off center. It has to line up with that hole in there. This hole should have been further that way, but it really doesn't matter, but I could have gone further that way with it. I think this head is a little thicker than the first one I made, by about 30 thousandths, so that's probably the difference. But so I want to measure from here to the center of that hole. I would say it's right around 320. So this is going to go on that way. So this is the side that it has to be 320 from. So that's 320 from the side. Let's see how that looks. As you can see, that's way off center, but that's okay because we can still bolt it on there all right. Hopefully that'll work all right. My mistake, I should have put the hole in the head further over, but it's correctable. And now we're going to go this way and get in the center. So that's 505. So 252 and a half. 252 and a half would be halfway. Right there. And draw a line all the way across. Then I'm going to turn it this way. Go all the way across. And you can see we got one line. So it's correct. It's going to work all right, I guess. We'll see how it looks. I was saying that's 1360. It's 930 seconds, that hole. My mistake again. I read the dimension for 1330 seconds was a... Open that up to 1/4 inch, then 1330 seconds. That doesn't have to be a reamed hole, obviously. So there's the hole, and it's very, very close to that valve seat, but it doesn't hit it. So now I'm going to put in the 2 holes that hold it down. I've already made the gaskets for this, and you can see they have a little notch in them. They're just a round gasket, and they have a notch for the screws to fit through. And that'll go on there just like that. It's going to be close, but it'll work. So that's 200 thousandths. So I'm going to go 100 thousandths on the edge. Right there, make that mark, and I'm going to go over here 100 thousandths, make sure that's right, make another mark, I've got to make sure that that's level. Let me get a couple of parallels here. So I put some parallels in there to get that square, because those holes have to go straight through. And I'm not going to drill all the way through because of the parallels. I don't want to drill into those, so I'll drill them about 3/4 of the way through and then stop. First I have to mark them with a spotting drill. Always double check on the diameter of the holes and so forth to the print, because sometimes they do make a mistake. Not very often I've caught one, but once in a while it pays off to double check. It's calling for a little relief for the nut. It's just probably an aesthetic thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to come down in there with a 1/4 inch end mill. The depth of it doesn't matter much, it's just for looks. So I'm just going to go in 100 thousandths and call it good. That's the way it looks there, and it doesn't look too good on this side, but it's going to work, I find. I just noticed that I never opened up that hole to 930 seconds, so I'm going to do that now. So the way I do that is put an 1/8 inch piece into the fin so I know that's straight. And I can just clean that hole up a little bit. So what I use is an alignment pin so that I know that that's perfect. It's actually going to go, whoop, this way. So I got to transfer these holes into there and then tap them. And everything has to be straight. So I'm going to have to get something in the vise so that this is held straight while I do it. So now I'm just going to mark this hole and do one. That's the clearance drill, just fits through the hole. I've got a piece of feeler gauge in here, so that's absolutely square with the cylinder head. And I can go right down through there, hopefully. So that's square now. And I'm just going to do one and tap it, and then screw it on and do the second one. You can see the mark right there. The second one will be same as the first one, so I won't show you that. I'm just going to drill this and tap it. See how deep I can go. You don't want to go into this hole here because then I could get a compression leak. So I got to measure the thickness of this and go in just a little less than that. So I've got 240 thickness, so I'll go in about 220 with the drill, and that's it. Bring that down and lock it. Set my dial indicator. 0. Now I can go in 220. That's it. So now I'm going to tap that hole, and I got to screw in a stud, and then I can clamp it and do the second hole. But that's the same as this one, so I'll show you when it's finished. Cutting threading oil here. That should give me at least 6 or 8 threads, so that's plenty. I'll go in with the bottoming tap. Just 6 threads. That should be enough. You got a piece of threaded rod here. I'm just going to mark this and cut it off a little long, and then I can adjust it later. But that's in 6 threads. And once I get that clamped down, I'll just mark this hole here and do the same thing for that side. So this is the one with the separate block. As you can see, I have the gasket on there. And I just want to show you how that fits together. Goes on there like that, and then you put the nuts on here. And due to the little recesses, it looks really nice. And that's what you'll end up with. If you do it with the block or do it in one piece, it doesn't really matter. It's like I said, it's the only difference is you have to have 2 gaskets here, and it's sometimes more work. So I did it both ways, and either way is fine. So in the next video, what we're going to do is make the intake valve chamber, and that bolts on top of here. So when you're finished, if you come over here, Jim, you can see this is what the whole assembly looks like. Right here, there's the intake valve chamber there. That will be the end of part 11, and as I told you before, I'm making 2 engines, and I did this both ways. So the picture is of both of these, and it's both ways, one with the block in the middle and one out of solid piece. I thank you very much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we appreciate you watching very much. Thank you.